Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inaugural Season 12 NGS Ace and Nectar Heroes of the Storm Casting Podcast, Episode 1. Welcome back, Ace.
It would be very strange if we didn't start the inaugural one with Episode 1 of the Season 12 edition.
You know, I think we could probably figure out a way to do it, but it would
bet
be a
we
lot more
could.
work.
It sure would be. Yeah, we're in now just sitting in Div A, not Div A West or A East or anything like that. So we've got a Div A match here between Strange Team Comp and Icecrown Citadel Archons, and I'm excited to see this match tonight.
So am I. We had the coin toss won by Strange Team Comp, and they followed the Season 11 meta to a T, selecting first hero pick. Icecrown Citadel Archons banned out Sky Temple, love to see it, and Cursed Hollow, slightly less love to see it. And Strange Team Comp banned out Brax's Holdout and Dragonshire. We find ourselves on the standardest of standard maps, Infernal Shrines, for map number 1.
Yep. Sky Temple will not be featured, even though it is our new map to the pool. New in quotes, it's been out for a pair of seasons, and we haven't seen it since Season 9, I believe. So...
Sounds about right.
Yeah, not going to be seeing that featured here. But instead we will see the Infernal Shrines, which, you know, I'm excited to see. So, yeah.
I love Infernal Shrines. Because it is so standard, you get to see how teams play normally most of the time. And I like seeing that, especially either in a Game 1 to see how things are going to open, or a Game 3 where you're settling things. Especially, I feel like you'd pick this map when you're confident that you have a good chance of beating your opponents, because it's the, again, most normal map. And thank you, Empress Sienna, for the Twitch Prime. And enjoy your Ektar Love Wooloo Heart emotes.
There you go.
Oh my.
Dog expressing love towards something in the background there.
You know, I really hope
yeah.
that that's not San Diego Gas and Electric coming into saying that they're going to turn off my power for some troubleshooting, because we called them earlier and no one came like they were supposed to, so fingers crossed.
If it is, the stream will resume on my end, more than likely.
Twitch.tv/7thace, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, in fact, the place.
It should be, but it could have been that you started late and your name was taken or something.
Yeah, so we've got a Noob and Junkrat banned out by Strange Team Comp, Stitches, and the obligatory Zagara ban by Icecrown Citadel Archons. Zagara has been a force in the meta since her recent buffs. And
a menace, some might say.
Yeah, every adjective can be used because they're not enough for how powerful she is right now. She fires banelings from a screen and a half away and blows up all your buildings, so... yeah. Okay. It's Spectrum. Spectrum gobbling up A games yesterday. We've got some today. That was an insane set, by the way, yesterday.
It was so cool. If you haven't watched it, definitely go watch it.
Yeah, Spectrum 20XX. Those Tricky Gooses against the Oats team. I don't know what their adjective is.
Mallow Oats.
Oats. That was an incredible set. No spoils, but that was probably the best set that A's going to play this season.
I mean, there's a lot of good players. There could be a lot of... It's definitely...
That could be a top 5 as a whole set, though.
It's almost certainly the best game of the week.
Yeah. All right, we do have Johanna, Cassia, and Sonia picked up on the side of Strange Team Comp. Seems pretty normal. Johanna and Cassia have been kind of mainstays in the meta ever since Cassia got the buffs from the rework, and Sonia is just good on the map.
Yeah, Strange Team Comp going for a very unstrange Team Comp so far. On the other side, however, Anduin and Vala, pretty dang normal picks as well, not really giving anything away. Vala has seen quite a bit of popularity since her recent buffs. The multi-shot build did get nerfed. It's still rocking a pretty decent win rate, and the Q build, although probably less good on this map in particular, has actually been the dominant build overall in win rate. And Anduin... he was okay after his mini rework, and then they gave him some nice number buffs, and he's been pretty good since then.
Yeah, especially with Stitches in the meta, being able to pull the hook target back has really been a key part of the Anduin play, but we see no Stitches in this game except up in that top ban bar, where we also see new additions of Stukov and Garrosh. Stukov has been quite strong with, as you would say, the proactive Ballista Spores.
It's an activatable ability. How is it not proactive?
I know.
We do have
Maybe you can
Dahaka
activate it in reaction.
Dahaka and Greymane getting picked up. Dahaka, I think, is maybe a bit of a surprise. As Wipeout was saying, I think, yesterday, he doesn't bring a ton to most teamfights. He's just kind of a big bundle of hit points and a global, which is less valuable on Infernal Shrines, but perhaps they're just looking to really protect and hypercarry that Vala, although it's gonna be a bit of a tall order to hypercarry a Vala with that Genji skulking around trying to get those quick reset kills.
Yeah, Michaelin, the melee flex player of Strange Team Comp, well known for some of the scary heroes that can be played, does have a fairly clean backline dive if Vala isn't able to be peeled for by whatever tank exists or get direct heals from Anduin. She really doesn't have a whole lot she can do to a Genji in her face. Dahaka doesn't have reliable peels. Greymane peels with damage, but that's about it. So, and Anduin's only got a root on a skill shot, which is hard to hit on Genji. So, could be a tough order, but, you know, with the Murden pick, might be able to just play make him off it. We'll have to see how Icecrown, Citadel, Archons deal with this.
I think both comps are very strong, and I really do feel like Michaelin is going to be make or break for Strange Team Comp here, because if he doesn't perform well, then they just kind of have a team comp with a weaker assassin in that Genji. But if he can make plays, then it can be really difficult for Icecrown, Citadel, Archons to really get anything done.
Yep, that is very true. We'll talk about a lot of the meta changes and some of the builds and everything we've seen change up in the last, what, two and a half months since NGS has been around. So I'm so excited to be back. It feels really fresh, actually. I don't know why.
It does, although this might be the most involved that I've been personally in off-season events, so I haven't been
same.
Quite as disconnected from Heroes of the Storm as I have been in previous off-seasons, which means I've just been kind of playing regularly for 2.5 straight seasons, which doesn't make me as tired as I might have thought I would be.
But I miss the casting, Ektar. It's tons of fun.
Speaking of casting, we have spawning on the left-hand side Strange Team Comp with Manimajif playing the Sonya, Bricky playing Johanna, Michaelin on that Genji, Dr. Evil is playing the Stabwing, and Empress Sienna playing Cassia.
And on the right side of the map, in the orange trunks, we've got the Icecrown, Citadel, Archons. We've got Thragnor on Anduin, Bob on Murden, Jaeger on Vala, Akari on Dahaka, and Squellblack on the Greymane.
It's true, as Ace mentioned, and definitely didn't put any work into at all. We are now in colorblind mode for both Heroes of the Storm and our casting overlay, so we've got nice matching cyans and oranges coming out.
Thank you. I was very subtle about that whole thing.
So we do have the start of Slam Sonya, which has been the meta, although since the recent mostly nerf, has fallen off a bit, but is still pretty standard. We do have Globes for Johanna, Thunder Fury stacks for Cassia, and Hyper Shift for Brightwing. Full E-Build looks like it's probably going to be coming out for Genji.
Yep, but we do have the Lightwell on one from Anduin. Part of his rework was putting that at the level 1 talent tier, giving it a little bit less per point, or per tick healing, but more healing overall. So it's a very strong talent and can sometimes just be thrown in the off lane to start, and then just be used by the off laner early on to help win the lane.
Yeah, it's dropping Lightwell from 16 to 1 is one of, but not the largest change of talent tier placements. We do have definitely the multi-shot build coming out, as mentioned, from the Vala as well, so they're going to be really looking to get those stacks, especially when they hit the 20 and get the extra bump in damage. Really makes her into a powerhouse AoE damage dealer, and then they've got the Greymane to secure kills that the Vala sets up.
Yeah, Vala, really a fantastic poke hero in the current iteration of her builds. She does a lot of damage very consistently with that large arc multi-shot that she gets at level 4. That's really when she's capable of stacking and powering up.
Yeah, we did have both teams take their own camps, and we have the Archons coming here trying to take this camp. They get all of the Khazur dead, but here's where they bring in that big hit point Dahaka to just turn this fight into their favor. They're going to find a kill out onto Bricky on that Johanna, and that will be the camp getting picked up in favor of Icecrown, Citadel, Archons. They do trade away a little bit of top soak for it, but getting the camp and the kill almost certainly makes more than makes up for it.
Yep, that's a good first blood there. Good decision. Good use of global from Icecrown Citadel Archons, and they're going to go ahead, use their above average siege damage with the Greymane and Worgen form and the Vala to be able to rip down at least one, if not both of the towers down here in the bottom lane, where the Punisher will be as well. So this has major implications for the Punisher that will be spawning in 30 seconds now.
There's some pretty low members, and Michaelin is going to jump in now that they are low, but it was on the Murda. He's able to Dwarf Toss away and not going to find any of those resets that Genji so desperately needs to get good value.
Yep, neither team looking towards their bruisers early with that push occurring in the bottom lane, but now we see Bob, Squell Black, and basically all the remaining members of Icecrown Citadel Archons going to burst down this camp, whereas Strange Team Comp don't seem to be putting in quite the same priority onto the top bruiser, so they are opting for bottom soak with Michaelin instead of taking the bruisers more quickly.
Yeah, this there's a lot of things that could happen, and it looks like the Archons are going to come down here and take priority on the objective, though they were relatively slow to do it because they stopped to get that mid soak. Bob is going to get most of bottom lane. Hard to say really who this favors outside of the big global factor that Dahaka brings, so he can really quickly turn this in their favor if he decides to do so. Big engagement coming out from Johanna. Not going to be subdone this game, but almost certainly would have completed it there had it been available.
Yeah, that was a good pull into Condemn. You can see everybody posturing around it. Michaelin actually goes for the dash, but gets hit by the Chastise from Anduin mid-dash. That probably saved a lot of damage off of Icecrown, and level 7s are now being picked up for both teams.
So Sonya did make the rotation down quicker. Dahaka is digging down right now. Was making sure he could get that Bruiser camp cleared fully so it doesn't do any more damage into the wall. They're up 10 Shrine Monkeys, though. But it looks actually like Strange Team Comp maybe getting in the better end of this team fight, although Jeff and Bricky are both very low. Michaelin is in the backline but isn't able to find a kill. And first kill actually in the team fight is going to go out onto the Cassia, so in favor of the Archons. Bob jumping in but is quite low as well. Oh man, there's so many members of the Archons very low, but it's actually Johanna Sonya gonna go down next. Michaelin goes in trying to find the reset onto Bob. He doesn't get the kill or the reset. Bricky's gonna go down next. And that's a very convincing win for Icecrown Citadel Archons, since they've got the Immortal, Punisher going into the bottom lane.
Yep, they do grab about a half-level lead off that and can have the Dahaka out-soaking. Michaelin goes ahead, got his dash interrupted, I think, from the Punisher, and now is going to be able to escape. This fort, though, is all but dead with the structure disabling powers of the Frozen Punisher, as now it goes to keep wall already at the 5-minute mark here for Icecrown Citadel Archons to push with.
Yeah, it finished the fort and had a nice amount of percent remaining on it. It will allow them with the Frost Novas coming out here to get some pretty good damage into the front wall. The Ragnar is mounted, but is going to come back and assist the rest of the team. Greymane is putting in good damage, but he's being safe about it. Because there's no heroics yet, and they really don't want to fight until they have that level 10 mark.
Yep, and so level 10's just about a minion wave away. There it is for the Icecrown Citadel Archons. We do have some Light Bomb Dwarf Toss combination plays that can be made, along with the Avatar. Rain of Vengeance, not the strafe play, coming out. A little bit against the meta, but still a very strong ultimate. Isolation and Cursed Bullet.
Yeah, and we do have the Strange Team Comp coming in and just clearing this camp that their opponents took. You're really not seeing the members of the Archons actually try to take their advantage and push it too hard. They're taking this bottom camp, but there's not a lot of opportunity for them to do anything, but they're also not really looking that hard for opportunity, it feels, either. They're just taking what they can and just being very safe about it.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think you should look to do something with your 10 advantage, but not force directly down with the 10 advantage. There isn't really too much of another place to force it that doesn't put you into a very compromising situation should things go wrong, even up ultimates.
Yeah, speaking of ultimates, we do have them now available for Team Comp. There's the Leap Engage from Jeff. Pull comes out onto one, but Bob is still in there. Little bit of a counter synergy with the Dwarf Toss out and the Light Bomb not hitting anyone. Michaelin gets a big heal and shield from the Brightwing. A lot of R buttons getting pressed, but it looks like all 10 members are going to walk away just fine. Actually, Empress Cyanna does get Dwarf Tossed on, is going to be able to escape. Bricky trying to turn around on the other team. and still even lower health bars, but still nobody actually falling there.
Wow, that was actually ridiculous that nobody died there. I think 3 members of both teams made it down to sub 250 hit points. That was really wild there, but no kills coming out. Instead, short cooldown ults all used. So everything's going to be good to go for another one of those team fights up in the top lane once this Punisher spawns in just a little bit. Might be a little bit sooner as we see Murden and Vala now positioning to invade, but this could be a dangerous one.
It could, but Sonya hasn't even gotten here yet. Empress Sienna does get engaged on. It is going to be the first to fall, but a very quick kill out into Vala. And that's the main damage dealer for Icecrown, Citadel, Archons, but they get a counter kill and a second one. That is going to be the camp and a 4-1 kill advantage going over to Icecrown, Citadel, Archons right as the shrines start spawning in the top lane.
That was
sad Johanna noises coming out from Bricky.
Yeah, that was really that was kind of a messy fight overall. I don't know, everybody's standing on the button and it just became, it was like a 2v2, then a 3v3, then a 4v4. And just by the factor of strange team comp had spent buttons on the camp rather than the enemy team before they showed up. Icecrown, Citadel, Archons get away with the invade, have an 8-1 kill advantage, 2-level lead, and going to have a 2 Punisher lead as well. So they're going to pick up this one uncontested in the top lane while STC goes ahead and soaks out level 13.
Yeah, looks like they might have been looking for something on that Dahaka, but Akari does have the spider sense to get on a dodge, so he doesn't even have to push buttons to escape, and instead just waddles away. We didn't mention it, he is W on 1, so no extra health or movement speed, but it does give him extra Wing power, which is equally strong in its own right.
Yeah, 50% spell armor can go a long way against the right composition, so I agree with these choices that have been made. Now Greymane left alone to take out top. Are they going to stall?
Looks like they are.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and pick up a Bruiser camp as well. Bricky's going to go ahead and check the area. Maybe try and rotate up towards the top. Thragner goes ahead, wisely W-checks that bush, and here comes the counter invade. Leap misses onto Thragner. Now Bob takes the brunt of the CC, but is doing fine himself. Sonya goes down first. Empress Sena and Bricky find themselves in a very awkward spot, and that's 3 more immediate kills for Icecrown, Citadel, Archons. They now get a Punisher, up 3 players, and have a Bruiser camp to push with. Ektar, this is going to be a really powerful push.
It sure is. At the very least, the keep front wall is falling. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if the entire keep fell, considering the Archons are going to be up about 2 levels, but more importantly that 16 talents here, second strongest in the game, some might argue.
16, 10, 20?
Yeah.
I'd say third.
Yeah,
nonetheless,
that's probably fair.
Yeah, that's true. Jeff goes ahead, takes the stun CC train. Dr. Evil is going to get the port to top them up quickly, but again, going to be a very dangerous spot for Strange Team Comp, where if they lose a team fight, they actually can just straight up lose game. Bricky gets jumped on. There's a CC combo, but the tongue does miss. Top keep goes down, but Punisher sitting at 10% health. Dr. Evil gets Dwarf Toss Light Bomb comboed on. Empress Sena going for some counter damage with the leap as well. That is going to get Squell Black very low, but the scaling keeping them alive. Now Johanna going down as well. No kills found for Strange Team Comp. That scaling too powerful, and now with top keep down and a good 2.5 level advantage, Icecrown, Citadel, Archons are just going to play safe and clean up around the map.
I think that the Strange Team Comp player Jeff made a bit of a greedy decision during that first part of that team fight. They actually split out, and looks like they were trying to soak mid and bottom, maybe try to get that XP difference down a little bit. Icecrown Citadel, recognizing this, engaged with the Punisher and up 5v4. Sure, it's under your opponent's keep, but a keep is not that much of an advantage in comparison.
Yeah, especially if it's Murden, the one taking the keep shots with the Avatar. Really can, I don't think he actually popped the Avatar, but the capability of popping the Avatar.
He did get, I think, 2 hits on the Light Bomb, which gives him a pretty hefty sized shield as well.
Yeah. So, level 16 still half a level away as Icecrown Citadel Archons are going to be putting the pressure on here in the mid lane with the Cosper Camp. Go ahead and finish that level 4 Piercing Light quest as well, so 10% extra spell power on the Anduin, so even more healing capability to keep Icecrown Citadel Archons alive.
Yeah. And that's World of Warcraft spell power, not Hearthstone spell power, so it actually affects your healing numbers as well, not just the damage.
Is true. That would be a priest mechanic if I've ever seen one.
Sag. I like that Akari is just kind of sitting in this bush waiting for someone to rotate through, because he could just chunk a ton of damage into Genji. I think people forget sometimes his deflect is actually channeled, so if that Dahaka tongue comes out, it stops the deflect entirely. And you could put some really nice damage in there. We do have Icecrown Citadel going to take this camp. They are very comfortable on the map right now. They know that their opponents are down 3 levels of scaling at this point. It still might be the best fight they get for the rest of this game. But it really doesn't look like Strange Team Comp are going to try to make a play before the next objective, maybe. So they're going to be down 20. I don't see a way around that at this point.
Yeah, the engage would be very difficult. I mean, they can go for like a leap into Blessed Shield or something if they're really careful about it, but it doesn't look like Icecrown Citadel Archons are going to give them that opportunity. It will be hard for them to soak up level 20 just because of how pushed out the lanes are, at least before this Punisher comes up, so there could be an opportunity.
I mean, they do have 20% on that extra passive XP from the buildings. We do have a leap coming up from Jeff, not finding any purchase. Is going to put some damage into Jaeger, but the turnaround is way stronger. Still taking that fight before 20, so this is, again, probably the best fight they can get, but still down 2 levels worth of scaling. It's going pretty decent for them, but a big 2-person route is going to find a Sonya kill and put a lot of damage into Empress Diana as well. She's going to fall. We do have the kill going onto Johanna as well. Only Michaelin and Dr. Evil surviving, and I don't even know if Michaelin is going to be surviving for much longer.
Will be, but yeah, the scaling and the good team fight sense of Icecrown Citadel Archons keeping everybody on their team alive is good. It was a necessary fight, but it just feels so tough to have to force those sometimes. And now Icecrown Citadel Archons rushing in with 2 catapults, a Greymane, and a 55 stack Vala with cooldown reduction. I think that's going to be game number 1, Ektar.
It's looking like all she wrote, unless Michaelin plays the Heroes of the Storm of his life, and running into a Stormbolt is not the way to do it. That is going to be game 1 in favor of Icecrown Citadel Archons.
Oh. Jeff leaps from spawn, should leap left on the own core. GG, well played. That was more one-sided than I expected it to be, Ektar. That was a tough one.
It was.
You are in the camp of a strange team comp. The Genji dives were really unable to find the kills that they needed early on.
Yeah, Genji didn't get kill resets, and that's kind of well, he doesn't have to get resets necessarily, but he does have to find kills. He got the singular kill that Strange Team Comp got, but generally you don't win with that kind of a kill deficit.
Yeah, Genji requires those opening kills to make it a 5v4 to, make up for his lack of sustained damage in a fight.
Although, if you're wanting to watch a game that the team that is down a substantial number of kills ends up pulling the victory out, go check out the VOD from yesterday on Spectrum's channel.
That applies to all the games. We didn't even spoil anything. The game summary. I need to change the colors on game. I don't need to. Still stays blue-red there. So,
where?
Yeah.
The actual thing that says game summary?
Yeah.
Oh, that's whatever.
Probably, yeah. Doesn't matter. We'll deal with that afterwards. So, next game, probably going to have Strange Team Comp going ahead and picking first pick. Which I believe they had this game as well. So, yeah, very interested to see where we are going. Could we get that non-Storm League approved Volskaya game?
Ooh, I'm loving to see it. And I mentioned this during the coin toss. I really want to see how that map ends up this season because it's not in Storm League.
Yeah. How much of a tank is it going to have? Because I think almost certainly it will be decreasing in popularity in some capacity. But, yeah, I mean, you got to get your scrim practice on it, and if you're not, I mean, you might just be in a tough spot where you're not used to the map, so all the more important to get your scrims in. BOE for game number 2.
Yep. As chosen by Icecrown Citadel Archons.
Yes. So, BOE, definitely lots of Vala play possible. It is probably her best map still, because Q-Build remains very good in general, but also good on the map. So, yeah, I think Vala could be heavily prioritized on this map, as well as some of the stranger heroes like Artanis. But I mean, the comp that Icecrown drafted last game still seems really good on this map.
Yeah, we'd probably see the Q-Build Vala coming out on this map in particular. It's a little bit weaker for race because you don't get Monster Hunter until 7 now. It used to be on 4, but it's still pretty decent.
All right. Both teams are ready to go, so we'll be getting into game number 2 quickly. We might have a pause about 12 minutes in, so there might be something at your 40s local time. We will have to see. I'm eager in anticipation for the pause. Got the readies. Oh, let's put the casters ready in chat just to make sure they wouldn't be waiting for us and get into this game number 2. Fun fact, he actually pressed the start button 35 seconds ago. That's just what it takes in the current days. Crazy. Right, so...
Alright, sorry for that. I was working on a hotkey issue.
Ah, okay.
I realized I went to go clear my throat during the cast and realized I hadn't rebound mute unmute in OBS for my audio input, so apologies to any phlegmy noises that came through on the mic. I did try to move away, but not super much that I could have done there. Has been adjusted for game number 2. My bodily functions aside, let's get in. First ban coming out is the Anubrak once again. Really feels like a target ban, although I don't know quite enough about Icecrown Citadel Archons to know that for certain.
We don't have to know that for a couple more weeks. Thumbs up. Yeah, that is the case here. Oh no, we have to know in 4 weeks if that's a target ban or not. Fascinating. Alright, Zagara?
Zagara.
Zagara
Shocker.
Really, a tough choice there. Ran that one to the wire.
Right, draft screen. That's a thing I need to do.
It sure is.
So if you are Strange Team Comp, what's your first pick on this map? They went Johanna first pick last time, and I don't hate Johanna, but I don't think she's necessarily first pick material, especially not on BOE.
That, as strong as that analysis is, I don't know. I think Cassia, just because I know Sena is quite practiced on the hero, and you generally draft more auto attackers, it could work. Artanis also of higher priority as well, so maybe one of those two could be kind of first pick material.
And the last
the band's interesting.
I mean, I love a Stitches ban these days. He's just so to deal with sometimes.
Yeah. What do the bands of the right two heroes have in common? They both win games from off-screen.
It's
Ow.
true. Hook after
What is
13 comes from off screen, and Zagara with that extra Baneling range. My gosh. Vala's the first pick.
Reasonable.
Very
Yep.
reasonable.
I didn't mention that one prior, even if I didn't put it in the list of first bans. I kind of maybe thought it would be banned.
I'm a little bit
I don't know.
surprised that it's not, for this map specifically. Like, Vala's been meta on this map for ages because of Monster Hunter. But there's a couple of other heroes whose stocks rise considerably on this map. I wouldn't consider Johanna and Stukov particularly among them, but they're just a pair of fine heroes, especially Stukov.
Yeah, we can see the prioritization that Icecrown has so far. They banned Stukov previously and then picked it first round here. So, I mean, Stukov's a good hero, let's be real. May and Rexar picked up. That's a spicy pick. A good Rexar is good on pretty much any map, even outside of the D-Shire Braxises of the world. But I mean, Misha just being able to add CC with no real like risk to it at all, or bush check or do anything, can be really, really effective.
I agree, although the fact that Rexar and Misha are two bodies is a little bit less relevant on this map than others. She can still do those things that you said, but there's not those tricky plays that you can do on those more point controlling maps. We do have the Brightwing getting banned, and I think that's a really good ban. Dr. Evil got a couple of really fantastic saves with those shield-empowered Zs in that previous game, so if the Archons are looking to kill the enemy team, banning out Brightwing is a heck of a way to start.
Yeah, Brightwing does have some really good save potential and has been kind of top of the meta for a while. I'm kind of surprised Greymane wasn't banned out. Skull Black played a rather proficient Greymane in the previous game and is reprising the role again, so I mean, this is probably one of Greymane's best maps as well, just because his race is so unbelievably high. Knock him off the hero may have been an option, but instead it was the Sonya removed.
I mean, getting rid of Sonya is basically never a bad idea.
Yeah.
Picking up the Lucio is, I think, a bit of an interesting pick. He's fallen off a fair bit in multiple nerfs, mostly to high five. So at this point, you're really picking him most of the time, either to have that consistent cleanse or for the beat drop. And Mei, good target to throw a beat drop against, or Li Ming. And the fall stat is really nice as a disengage. I think the Hawk is actually better than you would expect on this map as a 2-lane map because there's so many bushes you can get that move speed in. So Gus can be very powerful as a disengage, and then at level 20 it just becomes the world's strongest stun.
Yeah, behind what Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit is 6 seconds at 20 if you really want it to be. But yeah, it's Wind Tunnel is just insane at level 20.
Oh gosh, I put game 1. I did a prediction.
Oh.
I remembered to do a prediction on my own channel for the first time, and I messed it up. Who do you think wins game number 2? Put it in the chat, put it in the predictions. Bet those absolutely useless channel points. As we get into game number 2 on Battlefield of Eternity, spawning in the Cyan trunks, we have Strange Team Comp with Michaelin playing the Falstad, Dr. Evil playing the Lucio, Bricky is on Mei, Empress Cyan is on the Vala, and we have Manimajif in the top lane on Rexar.
Alright, and on the right side of the map in the orange trunks, we do have Icecrown Citadel Archons up 1-0 in this first best of 3 of the year. Thragnor playing Stukov, Bob on Johanna, Jaeger on Li Ming, Skull Black on Greymane, and Dahaka being played by Akari.
Checking out the level 1s as we are wont to do, we do have Q-Build coming out from Falstad. What the heck is this play? I have no words.
Bob, usually, I'm not. Thanks for doing casting for us there, because yeah, every one of those is basically exactly what I was thinking.
Limit testing. It got Empress Diana 3 stacks at the first W, which is kind of nice. Actually going into multi-shot builds, so not looking to get Monster Hunter and the like. I was talking about the Q build coming out from the Falstad before all of that happened. Falstad has been gone through a couple of recent changes. Basically, he's had a different build be meta over the last 3 changes he's got. Q build is kind of the meta, although you definitely still see auto attack build. I think people still think W is okay sometimes, but I am not convinced. We've actually got that which was previously called a lone and is now called a Gambit talent being picked up by the Johanna.
Yeah, that gives the bonus health and then minus 5% on every death. It also gives those permanent block stacks based on auto attacks against enemy heroes, which is definitely a different mechanic for the block stacks and not particularly effective against a hero like Lucio, but...
It's not, but it's actually a pretty sizable amount of extra hit points. It's about 600 over the Mei at this point.
Yeah. That is very true. Johanna's D-Shield does actually wear off in time to get hit by the Blizzard, but without Falstad here to apply more damage, there will be no kill secured out onto the Johanna.
No, but he did do the other good thing. My goodness, dogs. He did do the other good thing going into the top lane and helping the Rexar to secure that very first camp of the game relatively early.
Yep. And now we've got that kind of standard clear one more wave and then go finish up Bruiser Camp coming up. We also apparently have our much anticipated pause coming out in about a minute and change. Rather punctual pause, should it be. So now both teams rotating 2 Bruisers to go pick those up. Let's see what time they pick those up at.
Yeah, STC will have it available immediately at about the 13-second mark, and they do pick it up and rip it right away. The members of Icecrown Citadel are going to be picking up a little bit later, but that's not necessarily a bad thing on this map, although I think they probably would have wanted it a few seconds sooner if we're going for small optimizations.
Yeah, just to be able to walk over to the Immortal fast enough. There is the wanted pause.
Did I miss something? Was there an Uber Eats or something being delivered to somebody?
I don't know. I assume there is some kind of delivery occurring, because this was forebode in, like, lobby chat.
Okay.
And then they're like, it was very specifically at 40 on the clock, so... Good time to have it, though, right before the Immortal spawn, as opposed to, oh yeah, it's here right when the fight's breaking out. So, level 4s, we do have the Triumvirate coming out from the Li Ming, getting those orb cooldown reductions whenever one hits from a decent ways away. So I think that could be a possible poking mechanism, and it is rather effective against Rexar because there are more bodies to hit.
I need to add the prediction widget to my OBS so I can actually see what the results of the prediction was without actually having to just open it.
That seems kind of neat. I haven't seen that before. I'll have to look into that.
So checking is 78% Strange Team Comp and 22% for Icecrown Citadel Knights. That's a bit of a surprising series of bets, considering how relatively dominant Game 1 was for the Archons.
Now, important, the Icecrown Citadel Archons are the ones playing here. Icecrown Citadel Knights, as of 2 seconds ago on stream.
Yeah, I've probably said Knights a couple... I've probably said it more than once.
Oh, they did just win their game in Div E East 2-1 against Clouded Minds Beyond.
Man, I love to see all of these teams branching out and getting sister teams and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Helps create these organized places where teams can scrim and practice and share strats and draft. All right, you want to count in? I'll go ahead and
Sounds good. You hit the pause button. And we're back. We do have the Immortal spawn in the top and bottom positions, as they're wont to do during the first spawn, and both teams looking like they just kind of want to get to the racing, although it looks like Strange Team Comp got on the race a little bit faster, but they are being met pretty evenly in actual race progress.
Yep, Greymane pretty good at Immortal Racing, 501 health lead in favor of the Icecrown Citadel Archons, as the Immortals move to race positions now. Dahaka just waddling up. This could be very, very close, and it could come down to a matter of auto attacks. Just kidding, it was won by 3,000.
Yeah, Dahaka completely unnecessary for that race. Greymane and Li-Ming just kind of carrying. Li-Ming doesn't do incredible on the race DPS, but she is very nice in positions where you're trying to just poke it out from range.
Yep. And you can even make her good at level 7 with Seeker.
That's fair.
And especially at 16 with Fireflies, but not the most necessary thing to do.
It's not, and you give up a lot for making that decision.
Yes.
A lot of damage coming into Vala. It looks like she was pre-tapped, though, so going to be pretty fine. The Ragnar has not picked up his level 7, so is not potentially limited. He did, in fact, though, go into the targeted excision, so not going to have to worry about a limited duration. May getting stunned, Falstead getting stunned out, but looks like there's no one really in position to punish them for it.
Yep. Deep enough under the Ares, Quellblack actually escapes the blizzard using the Dark Flight, now engages onto Johanna, and Praseena also takes a good chunk of damage, but both teams just kind of posturing, not really committing to any kills or team fights there, as the 4-man has swapped up into the top lane due to the Immortal positioning.
Yep. However, there's no camps available yet. The top one, just coming available online now. So look to see both teams trying to skirmish over that in a little bit. We do have some really good wave clear coming out, actually, from Icecrown Citadel Archons. And it looks like the members of Strange Team Comp want to get their 4-man back, which will give priority for this top camp over to Icecrown Citadel, but it should also give priority to the bottom camp to Strange Team Comp. So, kind of an even trade.
Yeah, but the push potential for the Archons in the top lane is quite strong, because they've got the fort wall already down, and they've got a Greymane to be able to apply a liberal amount of siege pressure in. So really, this top fort could just be dead or very pressured here soon, as Quellblack goes in but isn't being targeted down by the fort, so isn't going to be punished for the dive. And this fort is very, very chunked.
It is, and I like that small call that you made about Squellback not pressing the Q button for mobility and accidentally getting targeted by that fort. He is going to escape with all of his hit points available, and it is only 5 seconds until the next Immo phase, although it looks like they might be trying to come down and maybe get a gank on this Misha Bear.
Yeah, but Misha Bear isn't worth too much. It's kind of just a convenience kill. In that case, as both teams up towards level 10, they have almost identical amounts of experience, though. Yeah, they're within 16 experience over 21,000 of each other.
You'd love to see it, actually.
Yeah, so both teams going to be able to do a lot. There's a stun onto Thragnar. Stukov now in a compromised position. Empress Saina, though, taken out first. Thragnar gets chased down by Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil hackling maniacally as he escapes with murder, with 50 HP remaining. However, May in a lot of trouble. Bricky going to be interrupted on that icing, taken out, and gives both teams level 10 at the same time here, as we will have more fun, and I think I hear Seeker from Li-Ming.
You sure do. We have this camp getting invaded, and they're actually not going to get punished for it. One of the hardest camps to take. Oh, we do have Dr. Evil coming in for the recontest. I actually really like this a lot. Although Empress Anna does get stunned out of her strafe, so isn't going to be able to get it. Michael helps to secure the camp. They trade over 2 kills, actually, for the attempt, and it looks like Akari might be the next one taken out as well. Stun coming out from the bear is going to give a reset to Li-Ming, but isn't going to be able to find another kill. Michael is actually going to try and chase her down. Shouldn't be able to. The Ragnar, I think, gets him out of there. But a lot of nice damage, and they actually... Well, the Immortal hasn't gone to halftime yet, so there's actually still some time for the members of the Archons to come up and make a recontest, or to try and defend during halftime.
Yeah, that is a distinct possibility. Ults remaining, I guess. Ults all picked up here. We've got the massive shove from Stukov, Blessed Shield down for 15 seconds. Disintegrate available, Curse Bullet, and Isolation available for the Icecrown Citadel Archons.
You know, it's in race positions. I could see Icecrown still just winning the race. They do have 2 on defense. Thragnor and Squellback on the offense. We do have Bob and Dakari. Ooh, we have the Ice Wall coming out. Huge damage coming in from Jaeger, but Michaelin's going to get a massive gust. He's going to push several people back. Leeming is going to be the first to fall. Another big strafe coming out from Cyana. Michaelin is just barely going to avoid the Stukov damage, and Bob, he's in there. He's doing good damage and does find the kill out onto Stukov, but he could very easily get counter-killed himself.
That would be a kill onto Lucio. That actually makes it a 1-to-1 trade, and while that was going down, Squellblack actually just went ahead and won the Immortal by 1,000. So that second half really favored Icecrown Citadel Archons as they went ahead, traded evenly, but came back from about 3,000 to 4,000 hit point deficit on the Immortal and won. So now it's pushing into this bottom lane, and will almost certainly get this bottom 4 down.
It's as you said, the race from Greymane is actually insane. We do have Bricky coming in to put a little bit of damage into Bob. Is going to be able to get away. Thragnor not having access to that virulent reaction for another level. And Fort, as expected, really went down pretty much immediately. Bricky not finding anyone, kind of walling himself out with that ice wall, and looks like he's going to become a Ming set, although with 2 heroics being popped in, the defense is going to be escaping out of there.
Yep, and as long as Strange Team Comp doesn't try and, I don't know, find any way to need those disengages again, that will work. Also, it is beat drop from Lucio, which is
expected in my opinion
these days. I would agree with you here. There's not a lot of major CC. Maybe the Isolation is the best one to hit, but Stukov's Silence Puddle really is kind of just handles high 5 really well, so I do like the beat drop option here from Dr. Evil.
You can get someone out of a virulent without too much issue, just because there's a little bit of range on the high 5. Unless they go into whatever the heck the level 7 is, where it makes it larger over time.
I'm trying to think. It's like expanding or something or another, but you know what? I'm gonna look up Growing Infestation.
That sounds right. Fort goes down, pretty expected. There was not a lot that Strange Team Comp could have done. 4v5 in that situation. 13s are available for both sides. We actually have an XP advantage in favor of Strange Team Comp, but a pretty substantial building advantage in favor of the Archons.
So, yep, they're going to go ahead, opt for their own bruisers, taking that just, I would say, a hair early if they wanted to try and push that. But again, with no fort being there, I guess it does give it time to group up, and it actually grouped up with the minion wave really, really well, so that could create some kind of power push in the top lane that Rexar will have to deal with.
I do think there's a bit of a bold decision on the part of Jaeger to go into that glass cannon, considering he's kind of already getting blown up in a lot of these team fights. You got to be careful there, Bricky. You've got Q, and you'd better use it to check that bush and not use your face. The reactive comes out, or the virulent comes out but misses. Bricky, I think, kind of got away with murder there.
And there's no murder involved, Ektar. I clearly see no deaths, but definitely got away with prevented murder there.
Yeah.
I think the icing peeled away Dahaka's tongue.
I don't even know if Strange Team Comp can defend this in time.
They could try and find some kills off the back of it as Misha goes in for a stun onto Stukov, which will be, nearly chained up by the Immortal. Nice ice ball from Bricky is going to put a nasty spot for Squellblack. As this team fight is just all over the place, split around the Immortal, but it is picked up full shield Immortal here for Icecrown Citadel Archons, and Strange Team Comp is going to have to defend this, and this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, they will have the possibly decently long advantage because Dahaka is in that bottom lane, although if he does the smart thing and he's able to pull that minion in, get that fort aggro, it won't be that bad. Nice massive shove coming out onto Bricky there. There's still a level advantage in favor of Strange Team Comp. They could potentially get 16 and try to make a play here, but even with small level leads like they have, they're going to start running out of opportunities if they don't find something pretty soon.
Yeah, you can... I mean, BOE is well known for losing fights and winning Immortals, and just winning games down a dozen kills or something like that. And we're kind of seeing that here, even though Strange Team Comp, holding a 5-4 kill lead, is massively behind in the structure department as this Immortal pushes on to this top keep and still looks moderately healthy for doing so.
Oh, they could save it here. It looks like the Archons aren't aggressing super hard to make sure they get this, but the ammo it's just got enough beef. It is going to find the fort, or the keep rather, and it's going to get the well for all that's worth, and it's still even in levels. Gotten it pretty much the same time, so there really wasn't an opportunity for Strange Team Comp to try to make a play, but it's getting harder and harder for Strange Team Comp to stay in the game. They have an even level lead, but being down 3 buildings is going to become increasingly difficult for them to deal with during these immo phases.
Yeah, the map pressure that will build up is going to become really, really difficult to deal with, as Ektar is just saying, so they're going to have to see how they respond to that, and part of it could be having a fight right here, as Icecrown, Citadel, Archons are making a play here, but it doesn't look like Strange Team Comp wants to make anything happen. This tongue's still going off while in time stop, and now Bricky taken out. The gust was unable to be performed in time as Falstad's fly animation took just a bit too long. The bird did not work out enough to fly down there fast enough today.
You know what? We got fireflies.
There we go. So we have maximum immo rate. This isn't fireflies, this is mirror ball.
Oh gosh, I'm so bad. You're right.
But we do have mirror ball, glass cannon, seeker with Aether Walker. So this is full Q build on Li Ming. Probably the rarest full build I see on Li Ming, but still very powerful if it connects onto single targets, whether they be buildings, immortals, or heroes.
Probably mostly those first two. Although if you do get a nice setup, perhaps by a virulent reaction that you can throw all 5 of them at one target. Not many heroes take that particularly well. This keep is still alive. Dr. Evil's looking for an engage. They do have the boards coming in for these as well. Icewall's going to hit out onto 1, and Thragnor is very low, but he actually gets saved by the Mighty Gust. It's powerful, but you gotta use it in the right way. Bricky's trying to find an engagement. Johanna is still very low, and there's another tick taken off of that Gambit quest. It's a good kill, don't get me wrong, but I think they're looking for a little bit more to get back in this game, and a Dahaka kill would be a really nice addition to that. There it is.
And they do go ahead, kill the Primal Zerg, and move forward towards the Immortal, while the remaining members of Icecrown Citadel Archons go ahead and take the Bruiser Camp in the top lane. That will augment the 2 catapults and a lane that's already there, and the lane plus catapult that will be joining it. So this Immortal needs to be won quickly by Strange Team Comp if they are to not fall under the macro pressure that will exist in the top lane.
Yeah, and I think Icecrown Citadel is making the smart plays right now to not try to make the defense. They're down 3 to 5. They do have their Johanna on the way now. They could maybe try to make a play when Johanna gets here, especially because I see Falstad's in the top lane. So this
Hawk has got Burrow.
He does, so they can actually make this into a pretty advantageous teamfight relatively quickly. Still 6,000 hit points on the ammo. Bricky's going to get out of there, does not get hit with the Cursed Bullet. And this is now scary because we've seen what Greymane can do on this Immortal. He's already starting, and look at that hit points fall.
Yep, chunking out. What is the auto attack damage? It didn't show me. 420 damage per auto attack. That is a pretty high number. Impressena takes a lot of damage during the strafe. They're trying to just poke in, all in on the Immortal. Jaeger's rather low there on the Li Ming. Immortal will go down here, but what will the cost be for Strange Team Comp, as the Immortal actually isn't down just yet, but it will get poked down, sitting at only 150. 17 health.
There it is. The Blizzard's going to get it. Look at that single-person race, though.
That's half an Immortal, for free. But importantly, that's not headed towards Strange Team Comp's last keep here. Instead, it is walking towards Icecrown Citadel Archons. But that being said, who's not headed that way? Bricky isn't, because he's headed back to the Hall of Storms. Nice pick off there from Icecrown Citadel's contesting that in anticipation that someone would have to clear the top lane. Macro pressure doing the work again.
Yeah, and instead we actually see the alt push coming out from the members of Strange Team Comp. We have the engage from Dr. Evil. Takes a bunch of damage, but he puts Dahaka into kind of a rough spot. Someone else is taking damage, and they're just going to try and push past. There's the push off and the knockback to try and get Dahaka out of there. And nice engage coming out from Dr. Evil. You love to see that kind of Lucio play. And they could get 2 forts and get out of here, and that would go a long way towards evening up the macro pressure, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
That also gives them a level 20 first. For what that's worth, I'm not entirely sure. This map is definitively hard to force a fight in a short time window like this.
I think it's going to amount to exactly nothing, as we see the members of Icecrown Citadel Archons very on their side of the map right now.
Yep. Looking at 20s, we of course have the Mighty Gust. We see House Party as well for that in-fight healing instead of the Bossa Nova for the more rapid burst prevention. I think I like that here. And very importantly, the Death Siphon from the Vala could... I mean, that turns that ult from okay into an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
So really have to be careful for that. I mean, it changes games.
On the other side, though, Radiating Faith is a very good way to stop the Death Siphoning from occurring. We have a Bush Party coming out from the team with fewer members, although we have the False Dead Fly in here now. A huge Ice Wall into the Blizzard is going to find a lot of purchase, and there you go, the massive Gust coming in there is going to push Squall back into the wall, and he will never get out of there. Neither will Thragner. We do have the Beat Drop, and that's going to be 2 kills for nothing. Really nicely set up there by Bricky, getting a very proficient Ice Wall into Blizzard combo. They're looking for more. Frankly, they're going to have to send someone back to deal with that Khazar camp in the top lane. But, yeah, it was Khazar camp. But at the same time, this does set them up very nicely to take their opponent's Bruiser camp and have a pretty comfortable time during the next demo phase.
Yeah, and also importantly, Greymane was one of the kills there, so they can't just get backdoor raced and put on a timer with Greymane dealing thousands of damage to the Immortal while they try and finish it off. So really a really powerful moment available here for the Strange Team Comp if they can go ahead and take advantage of it.
Huh. I very rarely see push comes to shove taken on the Stukov. I would love to see it get some cool reset value, but I don't know, I just never see that talent.
Stukov 20s are just underwhelming in general.
They are, because his base kit and regular talents are so strong.
Yeah.
We do have 5 versus 5 now. So this is a defense that Icecrown Citadel Archons can make, and because they're still up a keep, it is in their advantage to try to take this slow.
Yep, it is. All ultimates available, so nobody's waiting for those as well.
You've seen the 20s. It's time to hide them for most of the rest of the game, as we do have just more interesting things happening in our view screen right now.
Gust onto Li-Ming and to Thragner. Thragner does escape the area of the Gust, and the counter kill from the Li-Ming, who blunk over the wall, absolutely eviscerates Michael, and Bricky now in a really bad spot is going to get silenced out. That is 2 1/4 kills over to Icecrown Citadel Archons, and they have all the opportunities in the world. They can either try and end top, race the Immortal, take bottom keep. They really can do whatever, but it seems like race is the option since they can go ahead and burn it 100-0 here.
I think this is a really smart play. There's not a lot of defense left in that keep. Death Siphon is scary, like you said, so getting a half-health Immortal through, it's very safe and also very threatening for the members of Strange Team Comp. They won't even have everyone all up immediately. So they'll have everyone up when it gets to core, but you can see Archon Citadel pushing up onto the keep before the members of Strange Team Comp are even alive.
Yep, and that negates a lot of the risk of the wind tunnel in this kind of bottom location of the keep where you can get pinned to the wall. After the keep, it really opens up around the core, so there's a heavy opportunity to make this a little bit better. Here come the Boars. That's going to set up the route into the Mighty Gust. Slams him into the corner. Death Siphon doing a lot of damage here. Ice Wall is going to reduce the armor of everybody in the end. Beat Drop's going to keep the whole team alive. Stukov goes down first, followed by nobody so far. Bob in a compromising spot, but the Immortal dealing damage to the core as the shields have been broken.
Dr. Evil is doing the Reddit Lucio, is going to survive, and it buys a lot of space. He pushed back both the Johanna and the Greymane. It looks like they don't want to re-engage. This core will stay alive. It was a good defense. It was about as good of a defense as they could have hoped for. They're still in a very precarious position. Any team fight from here on out that Icecrown Citadel Archons wins, they probably just run core and win the game. They could just run core and win the game at any point if they see their opponents overextended on the map. It's winnable, but it's scary.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. There have to be no more mistakes from Strange Team Comp, other than leaving that globe there. That's an acceptable mistake, but only barely. But I'm curious if Icecrown could have just kind of all in that core there, while 100% of the damage was being put into the Immortal. I mean, they've got Greymane. They've got single target Li Ming build. They may have been able to make that happen, but here we stand, level 22, and the Strange Team Comp still fighting to stay alive.
They are, and you know, they could be in a worse position. They could have lower core health. They could have their opponents could have more buildings. Oh boy, Michaelin, you're playing with fire there, and by fire I mean tower shields. As if Johanna had the wherewithal to rip that Radiating Faith, you could have been dead there.
Yep, and now there's a bunch of pressure up here in the top lane. Another Cosmic Camp, 2 catapults, and soon to be a Bruiser Camp, which will require the attention of Strange Team Comp. They're going to have to do something about that. They're going to rotate the whole team up just a little bit early, take it out, but the Bruiser Camp is going to be the kind of extra factor that's going to really push this top lane next wave. So, again, long protracted poke phases are going to favor Icecrown Citadel Archons heavily.
Yeah, and we see that in the decision making from Strange Team Comp. They're already trying to get the poke in. They're not committed to a hard race, as it were, but they need to make things happen. Time benefits the Archons as that top lane has built up pressure, and Strange Team Comp have made the call. They can't force a team fight well enough, so they rotate the Falstad out, and this is going to give the opportunity for Icecrown Citadel to get their own poke in.
Yep, good option on the Falstad because of the global, though, rather than doing the less mobile Rexar. Squall Black and Jaeger doing a ton of damage to this Immortal, already knocking out about 20-25%. Here comes a Gust, or rather the Fly over didn't end up ripping the Gust. Bob, not sure if they have the Iron Skin available, is popped now. Beat Drop is used. There's the Gust pushing against Akari on the Dahaka. That's 2 kills. Radiating Faith has to be used to negate the Death Siphon, but Bob in a bunch of trouble. No D-Shield for 7 and is taken out. That's 3 kills for the Strange Team Comp. Their team fight prowess showing now with their composition, and they're going to go ahead and try and burn down this Immortal.
Yeah, no indestructible there for the Johanna. That is kind of the price you pay for picking up the improved heroic. It means that you're less survivable. The Radiating Faith did a decent job of almost getting her out of there, but not quite enough. I would like to see Rexar rotate out and take care of this bottom lane, because Michaelin is going to be more effective on the race here, and that's at least 2 catapults in bottom lane. That's not insignificant amounts of pressure at this point in the game.
That will end the game because a third one is headed down there as well, so that has to be taken care of. Fly is available in 2 seconds, so Michaelin could be able to do some kind of hearth fly maneuver as necessary, and that seems to be what's going on here as the Immortal starts. Additionally, quick update on Quest. Vala, 93 stacks of multi-shot. Michaelin on the Falstad, 95 stacks of Gathering Storm. Johanna down to just 5% bonus health on the Gambit talent from Divine Fortress. So, scaling going heavily in the favor of Strange Team Comp here.
Now this is an interesting decision coming out from Strange Team Comp. Really giving a lot of space because their Falstad is in the bot lane, and obviously everybody knows that. Bit of a miss on the ice wall. Bricky getting hit with a huge virulent reaction. That silence is going to find a kill out under the Mei, and this push that they maybe had has been completely neutered.
Yeah, snuffed and taken out. Keep Wall is all they're going to get with a 27-minute more. Maybe not. Here comes the Gust. It doesn't pin them against a wall, and Akari is going to be able to get out. Virulent only hits on the Bears, and now that is Boar's Pot to go ahead and root everybody in place and make way for the disengage. But now there are not many ults available to make any kind of core defense. Only 91% of a core available is a core is 50% of a normal amount of health.
It
And they're
looks,
running for it. They're going for it.
It looks like there was maybe a thought that from Akari that they were going to try and take that camp, but they are up 15 seconds on that Mei. And you know what? Strange Team Comp are so late on this rotation. I think they're just going to 1A all day on this core. And I don't know that there's a lot that Strange Team Comp can do about it at this point because they got there so late. Squall Black is going to go down, but Jaeger is putting in that damage with the Talrasha elements, and that is going to be game number 2 and the series to Icecrown Citadel Archons.
That's a good game number 2, though. That was a much closer showing than game number 1. But just a little bit of lane de-pushing really made the difference there. As Strange Team Comp, again, too far out of position to be able to make the defense occur.
Do you want to see a game where you win with a 4-kill deficit? Because that's what happened here.
Yeah.
It's crazy, too, because it almost... There was about 40 seconds where Icecrown Citadel were behind in levels.
Yo, Weenus with the raid and the 69 bits. That's pretty nice, Weenus.
I forgot to re-add Stream Raiders. No wonder I didn't get a sound for that.
Oh, I can't believe it. Ektar confirmed bad streamer. Went from Icecrown Citadel Knights winning 2-1 to Icecrown Citadel Archons winning 2-0. Things are going well.
I even put Knights in the prediction, and you know what? The Knights did win, so...
It is correct all around.
Yep. That was a really tight game number 2. It really could have gone either way at the end there.
Yeah, what a critical find by, I think it was Akari and Theragnor on the Stukov to make that. I don't know if the tongue hit, but I know the virulent reaction hit, and that really set up the, just push destruction, really stamping out the hopes of Strange Team Comp at that point, and then allowing Icecrown Citadel Archons to push onto core and win. So... good chunks of damage as well. 113k off the Vala, 110k off the Li Ning, though. That is a lot of damage. And that doesn't even include all of the building and immortal whatever damage. While taking Glass Cannon, really impressive performance there from Jaeger.
Yeah, Jaeger actually overextended and died a couple times earlier in the game, but less so after taking that Glass Cannon.
Yeah, only one death. That's quite solid. And welcome, and congratulations on your 2-0 victory.
Hello, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Is this your first time as captain? I don't remember.
This is my first time captaining a team.
Well, congratulations getting a win as in your first series as captain.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Game number 1. How do you feel that went for y'all? Because it seemed like you just kind of won the whole game and then you won, which I think sounds maybe worse than it actually looked, but it really felt like you were kind of in control of that game the whole time. Is that how it felt for you guys?
Yeah, it felt pretty good. There were a few miscommunications that like when our Murden was getting a light bomb when he was trying to leave. That's on me. But other than that, it felt pretty calm. Just like it felt like we always had the tools required to kind of deal with what they were doing.
And do you think your team is prepared mentally to deal with playing against a Genji as proficient as Michaelin's, or is that a bit of a surprise for you guys?
I think we're okay with it. We've scrimmed a lot of folks before the season started, and we actually saw a lot of very dive heavy comps. We saw Genjis and Zeratul. So I think at this point we've kind of broken our teeth in, and we're kind of used to it now.
Okay.
Yeah, those kind of, I don't want to call them carry heroes, but the really make or break heroes can be very hard to play against sometimes, depending on your composition and how practiced you are against them. So it sounds like you're in a good spot to make that happen.
Yeah.
Looking at
There's
you
not a
had,
whole lot.
you had Matt pick for game number 2. Why Battlefield of Eternity?
We just like fighting.
You say that, and that may be true, but you know what? Squall Black did a lot of not fighting during the team fights of that, and I think it worked out in your favor very well.
Oh yeah, he is great at what he does, and Greyman is one of those things that he does. So he goes off and races, and the rest of us, we just like fighting.
It worked out decently because there was probably 2 different times where, Icecrown Citadel wasn't necessarily winning in the team fights 4 versus 5 because Squall was racing, but then Squall was racing and you just win immos and suddenly everything is good in the world again.
Yeah, it is always a nice feeling when you do get to win objectives.
And the Greymane did. I mean, the 4A5 defense with 1 burn strategy is known and everything. It's quite solid, but I think that was really shown off to be rather effective in this game specifically. So nice job to pulling that off.
Thank you.
So later in the game, it really felt like Strange Team Comp was really starting to find their stride. They had a couple of really strong team fights where they actually were making steps back into the game. How do you maintain composure in those kind of situations where you were ahead and then your opponents win a couple of team fights and it's looking a lot more even?
I think our comms went along the lines of, it's weird, we're losing, we just lost a fight, but somehow we're still winning the map if you look at the towers. So
Just
we just
BOE
kind of took that, we just kind of took that, like, you take the salt with the sugar and just try and keep a level head. Talk to the team, see what's going on.
Okay. I don't think I have any more questions directly related to the series. How about you, Ace?
I, in fact, do not.
Okay. So I know this isn't your first season in NGS, but like you said, it's your first time captaining. How'd you come to be associated with the Icecrown Citadel folks?
So I play in a thing called Girls Gang Squad, which is hosted by Jasleen.
Yo, shout out to Girls Gang Squad, though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which, through GGS is how I got introduced to NGS and got my first team there. And then this season, I had done a little bit of coaching for some of the ICC Raiders last season. And they're doing fantastically. They jumped from Div E to Div C, so I'm very proud of them. So
I saw
Queen,
as well that the Lich Queen said that they won their series.
Mm.
Nice.
Yep.
But yeah, Lich Queen said, hey, do you want to captain a team? Because she wanted to get the org a higher Div team, and I said, sure, I can probably do Div A. That's what I'd like to aim for. And yeah, the folks who applied were all just very, very cool.
You love to hear it.
Now you're sitting in first place in Division A, may I say.
It's true. You are the
Oh,
first
snap.
domination in Div A, I believe, unless there was a... I don't think there was another Div A match earlier.
There's Probius versus Tactical Feed, but that hasn't been reported yet as far as the website is concerned. Hits the standings. Yeah, that isn't on the website yet, so you are provisionally at least in first place.
Nice.
So, very nice.
I will say we definitely had a little bit of an advantage because we have played with Strange Team Comp a lot, whether it's just from our scrims or just from random games. We actually know a lot of the folks on that team.
You know, not to be too biased, but we scrimmed them literally last night. So I hope that the bias doesn't come out too much in the casting.
Oh.
It's out in Game 2 because we're a fan of Game 3 more than anything.
That's fair.
You were just hoping I would int a little harder, huh?
Not you specifically. But somebody.
I mean, can you int harder than the 18-second May kill? Let me just ask. That was something.
I'm assuming that was a quick cast clerical error, and that instead of a Q, out came an E, because that was... We were talking about our strategy, and then suddenly a May was in our faces.
Suddenly you had an extra 250 or so experience to work with.
Yes, that was something.
All
Yeah,
right, I think that's about it for us. We're going to give it on over to you for any shoutouts.
First and foremost, huge shout out to all the members of ICC Archons, because I've captained teams in other MOBAs, and I have to say this has been the most pleasant and relaxing experience I have ever had. And then another shout out for Strange Team Comp. Y'all have been such wonderful folks. Scrims and practices and all kinds of stuff in the preseason, and they were very, very flexible with their time this week. And finally, big shout out to the casters.
Hey, that's us.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. A lot of fun doing these. I was mentioning in the intro that it's been a while since we've done an NGS cast, and it's just a lot of fun. So I know people are like, oh, nice scouting and all that stuff, but we do just like watching everybody in our division and just seeing it, and promoting the division that we're in and all that kind of good stuff. It's a lot of fun.
You know what? I lied. I do have one more question about the series.
Gasp.
Why, when push comes to shove, I never see that talent taken?
So I actually watched BBJ play Stukov the other night, because I've been practicing Stukov back up. He's fun to play. And he kind of mentioned in an interview, like, push comes to shove is one of his go-tos if he's grabbing shove, because of the slow on the back end. So if you get a point-blank shove, you still get a slow out of it, which can be very nice into something like, say, a Vala.
All right.
That does
I did
make
get
a lot
one
of
of
sense.
those on in the middle of a volley.
All
Yep,
right.
sure enough.
Fair
Slows
enough.
by 50% for 4 seconds upon colliding. That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I promise I'm done this. I'm actually done this time.
You sure?
I mean,
Yes, and I am too.
I could talk to another healer main for way too long, but this cast has to end sometime.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for casting.
And thank you
I
for
hope you all
coming
have
by.
a wonderful night.
You as well.
GG's.
GG's.
All right. Well, that is going to be our show for the evening, but don't leave from here, because we're going to get some more NGS action over to you in just a minute. We're going to be raiding over to 130 Aragon, that's how I'm going to say that, who is currently casting the team kill match of Team Rainbow Strike Go versus TRSG Knights. So thank you everybody for coming by. Thank you Ace for joining me as well. And yeah, I think that's about it for us. You got anything, Ace?
I do not. Good to be back. Good to cast some more games again this season. Hopefully it'll get you closer to that coffee mug that we definitely didn't get. And, if you're not a caster, go get one from the NGS store. Woo!
All right.
All right.
There's
See you around.
the button. All right. See you around, everybody.
Bye.